Welcome in, LSU fans, to another edition of the Bengal Tiger podcast, part of the On3 network. My name is Bryce Kuhn. That is Matthew Brune beside me. And Matthew, we're not, first of all, I don't like calling you Matthew. Second, we're not outside. And I don't know about you, but when I pulled into the driveway, it's pouring outside of my house. I don't know if
It's
it's
not
bad.
quite pouring
If
over
it's bad
here,
on
but
you.
I hear the thunder. I hear the thunder going off. So it would have been very interesting. That would have been the next step for our podcast is from, the chairs to the ground to just in the pouring
Just
rain.
umbrellas. We could have
Yes,
just had like one
umbrellas.
umbrella huddled underneath.
Keep getting the sponsorships.
We could have. So there you go. We have plenty of sponsorship opportunities. But today we're talking a little bit of fall camp, and then we're going to talk a little bit or answer some of the questions on the board from those mailbag questions that Bernie, you said,
Dude,
you
literally,
you
I
opened it
posted
and then they just spammed it, which is
this.
great.
Look, let this be an endorsement of our site and just how amazing this site is and the message board community that we have cultivated here. I posted it at 9 a.m. I said, taking questions for 15 minutes. And I got dressed for fall camp, come back to close it. We had 26 messages or questions in there already. Like, I was like, okay, you're getting closed immediately. Like, it's incredible how many people sent questions.
And for the most part, they're like, I mean, there's no like dumb questions.
No, they're like nuanced, like
they're
pretty good
nuanced
questions.
Yeah, there's no like, what's your favorite color type of
Real
stuff.
fans.
Yeah.
Real fans.
What is your favorite color, by the way?
Blue.
Easily. Let's start off with this though. Before we get into it, I like to do this on my own show, so I'm going to do this and bring this to this show. I like to do typically a question of the day, so we're going to start you off with this since I'm going to give you my mailbag. The girlfriend's not home; she's off doing whatever.
Yeah,
that sounds weird. How I'm starting this off, by the way, and it's like, I'm just going to pig out. I don't really want to eat healthy tonight. You're ordering a pizza. What type of crust and what toppings are on that pizza?
Well, it's also important where you order the pizza from.
Well, okay. Yeah,
I'm ordering Domino's pizza, and I'm ordering just the regular hand tossed, and just give me anything with meat. I'm good on it. Pepperoni, sausage, everything like that. But Domino's to me is clearly above the Papa John's, Pizza Huts, all those other ones.
Well, Shay invited us over for a play date a couple of weeks ago, and we had Capri Suns, but we also had Domino's. And I'll tell you one thing: I had not had Domino's pan crust. That stuff's legit.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that's.
I didn't want to mention what companies, Bruni, because we don't have advertising with them. So I don't like to give no free shout out on this podcast.
Hey, Domino's, come sponsor the podcast. I eat Domino's once a week, probably. Very
there
good.
we go. It's not bad. It's not bad. All right. Anyways, fall camp reaction from today. Bruni, I think this is the best way to put it. Kind of a carbon copy of what you got to see on Monday. No pads. They were inside the entire time. I mean, you were even trying to decide how you wanted to title the fall camp's note article, because it's like, you don't want to put out there the offense shined. Of course, they're going to look a little bit better when the pads are off and, DBs can't be as physical with receivers and stuff like that. So I guess just, we're not going to, there's not too much to talk about, just 30,000 foot view, kind of what you think.
Yeah, today, like you said, was kind of a walkthrough. I mean, I think if real quick to just hammer home like what today was, Whit Weeks was not available in practice. He was there, but it was his day off. It was basically Garrett Nussmeier's day off as well. He threw a little bit, but in 7-on-7, it was all Michael Van Buren. In 11-on-11, it was mostly Michael Van Buren, which I think he had a great day. I think for him, now clearly there's not a pass rush coming at him. There's not all these other things to account for. But just from a accuracy and a arm talent perspective, I think it had been a very inconsistent camp for him. So I would say, like, if we just go very, very loose term of winners of the day in terms of just us getting to watch practice for an hour and a half, whatever, like Michael Van Buren had a really good day, which to me is substantial because I was kind of hesitant for a little bit about just what he had done to this point. So loose, Nuss not really practicing, Whit not practicing, Jordan and
Chris
Hilton were graduating. Congratulations to them. So not a ton to take away there. And then I have some O-line, D-line, and wide receiver DB one-on-ones in the notes as well.
Yeah, you go check out that article. Obviously, Fun Under the Bengal Tiger. Get that subscription. We're still doing a great deal. $1 for your first week, and then you get a year long for the Athletic. So, and truthfully, from a person who subscribed to the Athletic before I joined, by the way, that is great value great value. Even though you're going to end up paying the full price for Bengal Tiger, to get both of those, that's a great deal. So no, Bruni did a great job on those notes. And yeah, to me, man, I mean, we were out there on Tuesday, very physical day. Kelly mentioned in that post practice presser, try to say that 15 times in a row fast, that it had been physical days like this week. And so this is kind of, like you mentioned, a day off for everyone, and make sure you have those mental, like you understand what's going on. Bernie, I don't recall, and maybe you do, but the way they've set up this fall camp, I personally like. Like, I kind of like how they've had. Now, do I like standing up at the rafters of the practice facility for 3 hours? No. But I like in terms of like the installation. It seems like they go hard for 2 or 3, 4 days, and then they kind of take a day off to reevaluate things. I guarantee you they're getting in the room to look at the film and then come back out and saying, all right, let's slow it down, correct some of the things, and then we enter another period where 2, 3 days we're kind of going full bore in pads. Do you like that? And I can't remember, because it's so much has happened, if they really went through that last year. But I like that system, I'll say.
Yeah, I'd have to think about last year. I definitely don't remember the walkthrough, or at least being there for like
I don't
that
think we were there
type.
for it. They did it.
Yeah, that type of practice. I will say, me like showing up and then they were like, "Oh, we're inside for the whole time." It was interesting to be like, okay, I know they've had some hard practice and stuff, but inside for an hour and a half really showed that it was kind of just a walkthrough type of day. I
Mhm.
don't want to say walkthrough because they did compete a little bit, but it
Yeah.
wasn't much to it. And but I think for the majority of fall camp, we've seen them outside. We've seen them in the heat. We've seen the periods of being indoors shrink for the most part, where
Yeah.
it's been like gone from 6 periods to 5 periods to 4. So we've seen plenty of competition. So I'm not really concerned. I think the biggest thing, which has been the main thing for Brian Kelly since he's gotten here, has been decreasing the amount of injuries that this team has in fall
Mhm.
camp. We've seen it. You see it across the country. Every
Yeah.
team has fall camp injuries. Clemson has a couple notable ones. They've lowered that substantially over the past 2 years, and I think that's what Brian Kelly's wanted.
Yeah, I'm with you. It does seem like you're more, maybe staffs are more cognizant of what can happen, and trying to take precautionary methods, so you don't get into a game week and you've got a guy essentially on a pitch clock. And that to me is kind of what they're doing with Whit Weeks, right? I mean, Brian Kelly set up straight up today. He will not practice 5 days in a row full bore until game week. So what does that tell you? Hey, when they take the field tomorrow night inside Tiger Stadium for a scrimmage, he'll practice. He'll have 3 more days after that, and then they're going to hold him out. So just one more week of fall camp, Bruni. And I guess the last question, we can talk about this, and everyone make sure you go check out those news and notes and tidbits. What popped off to you today in terms of watching camp, and just watching, as limited as it was in terms of what you could really glean from it? What did you think, and what really stood out?
So, like I said, with Michael Van Buren, he was the one. If we talk offense, Barry Brown keeps making plays.
Yeah.
Like with pads, without pads, doesn't matter. He's going to be on the field and be a part of this offense. It's good to see Aaron Anderson out there. After him missing a couple weeks, he looks sharp. And then Trey'Dez Green, someone on the board was like, "Man, it seems like Trey'Dez Green had a good practice just based off the 1-on-ones and stuff." I'm like, he always has a good practice to me. To me,
Yeah.
it's just he steps on the field and he's immediately just awesome to watch practice because he just wins like a ton of reps. He'll catch a bunch of
Yeah.
balls. Like he is a phenomenal, phenomenal player. So that's like offensively where I go. I don't know if you have anything off that before I go defense.
Well, I was going to mention Trey Des, just elite practice player, and it's not a knock on what I think he could be in a game. Like, I think he's going to be. I think it's going to translate, but he just doesn't ever. If we made a list, maybe we should do this next week as fall camp wraps up. Like, who has been the most consistent and throughout fall camp? To me, Trey Des has got to be in that group, just in terms of the
That's a
way he
really
comes
good.
out and plays.
Yeah,
Because that could be
That's a good
interesting.
story idea. Write that down. Write that down. We'll do that next
Oh, yeah.
week.
Defensively, who
Um,
you got?
Defense, we've talked about today. I hesitate to pull too much from the D line because without pads on, watch them go against the
Yeah.
offensive line. It's hard for them, I think, especially to really be as physical as they want to be. I think a lot of it without pads, you have to use your hands a lot more, which is good
Yeah.
for both sides of the ball. But I definitely don't. You're not getting into them as much as you want to. So I think you go to the secondary. PJ Woodland had another really nice pass
Yeah.
breakup, and it's just going to be hard for me to imagine him not getting on the field this year. But it's insane how deep this secondary is. Like I
Kelly
feel like
said they
PJ
were
Woodland.
running out 6 corners.
Yeah,
Like,
not to make this like some big picture DB conversation here, but like it's hard for me to fathom like PJ Woodland not getting on the field this year because I think
yeah.
he is a good player and he has had a really good camp, but they just have like a bunch of other dudes as well. So I still haven't really sorted out how the DB room works out.
Jakeem Jackson working back from what Kelly said was a grade
Yes.
1 hamstring issue. It's opened the door for PJ Woodland to get more first team, second team reps. We saw that earlier this week when Jakeem was when we were outside, and PJ Woodland had more of a presence, I guess is the best way to put it. The other thing with that, and kind of following up with it, is you look at it 6 deep. If DJ Pickett on the other side has gotten a lot more first team run with some of the guys, and I think that's huge too. That cornerback room, and I mean maybe it's something that we write about over the weekend or leading in next week of fall camp. I don't. I mean, I know Shay's kind of talked about this on the board. Like, I just don't know how firmly, and I think you could just play matchups. Like, I genuinely think that you could. Like, you could get into a situation where, hey, we play college football 26. You want to match them by speed, by height, by
Yeah.
overall rating? What do you want to do? Like Ashton Stamps, I said this today. He just keeps playing. Like, and I don't mean that as a shot. It's just like we all just assume that guy shouldn't start because of the star power and the notoriety of the guys you brought in. But he just keeps going out there putting up good reps. And it's like it's gonna be hard, like you said, to keep all of these guys off the field.
I think of Ashton Stamps like the 3 or 4 years that we've seen him and known him. He killed it in camp out of high school when he was in high school to earn the offer to get here.
Yeah.
Like killed it in camp. He gets here as a freshman, kills it his first year as a freshman.
Was small.
Yeah, but was like had to fill out, had to figure things out. Killed it last year. Like got starting reps, obviously started games, and then this camp has had a really good camp too. So it's like every step along the way, Ashton Stamp is like a 3-star guy, but surpasses his ranking there. Like every time when you assume that Stamps isn't going to be like a star, isn't going to be like a starter, he just puts together good practices and puts together good tape there. So I still have my reservations. I'm not ready to be like, hey, this guy's going to be an all SEC corner or even
Yeah.
like a high level corner yet, because there is some of that physical, question marks to where you look at Pickett and Jackson and some of these guys and you're like, okay, you see it, like Delane, you
Yeah.
see it. But you're right. There's something to be said about a guy who shows up to work every day and like balls out. And that's what Stamps is.
And my last thought on it is really too, it also speaks to the transformation of this room because now you've got a guy in Stamps who's played meaningful SEC snaps, and you got a guy like Woodland who, you know, this staff felt like he was an underrated get in that last year's recruiting cycle.
Yeah.
He's bulked up. He looks the part with a little bit more now. If those two guys are like your backup options, you feel really good about where they are, not having to force them into a situation that's not the most advantageous for them. I think that's what I like about it because you've got guys that, hey, you've got the DJ Pickett who can go out there and start. You've got Jakeem Jack. You have Mansour Delane. But if something happens, God forbid, knock on wood, you've got two guys one that's played a ton that is not going to be just completely overwhelmed with the situation. I don't know if the plays level is going to be the same, but the situation won't be too overwhelming.
Yeah. So the cornerback depth is incredible. We've talked about it before. Keeping them, keeping Woodland and still being able to go get Delane and Pickett and all these guys and Jackson is incredible. So very encouraging. We saw Michael Turner get out there for a little bit as well. We know how fast and how good of an athlete he is too, just rounding out the room there. So
yeah,
very, very encouraging secondary performance throughout the fall, I'd say, and going into the season.
You know what's also encouraging is when you have people who want to help you out, Brady. And we've got a good friend that likes to help out the show. We have some exciting news to announce. Our good friend Andy Luedecke from MyPerfectFranchise.net. And the big thing you need to know is that Andy's a really big baseball fan. In his line of work, he has seen firsthand the fantastic traits that baseball players can bring to the business world. A lot of transferable skills. Andy is offering up a donation of $500 up to $1,000 to the school's baseball NIL collective if anyone from our site over at the Bengal Tiger purchases a franchise. We think this is a cool opportunity because not only do you get to support us, but you get to support your Tigers as well. And it's an opportunity to help the baseball program. I'm going to be real with you, Bruni. I don't know how much help Jay Johnson needs, but I think he'd love it. And that would be great there, too.
At
So
the
you can
same
reach out.
time, Jay
Yeah,
Johnson
it's
seems like the type that if he finds a dollar on the ground, he is picking it up and he is
a
using it.
dime. He's picking up the dime
Yes,
off the ground. Yeah,
exactly.
in the parking lot of Alec Box. So look, now is the perfect time to contact Andy to learn more. Remember, his services are 100% free, and he's here to help you if you have any questions. So if you just want to kind of get that intro with Andy, you can do that. It's free of charge for you, that free unsolicited advice. If you want more in depth, you want to learn more and more, that's obviously when you get those conversations. And to do that, you can head to myperfectfranchise.net. To learn more, or you can text or call Andy, that number below if you're watching, and if you're listening on podcast platform, it's 404-973-9901. We appreciate you watching. If you're listening as well, make sure you like that the video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe on all those podcast feeds. Bruni, where do you listen to your podcast? You a Spotify, Apple guy? What do you do?
Spotify. You asked me that a few podcasts ago.
I think so.
Yeah.
I tend to do that. Someone told me the other day they listened on iHeartRadio. All the power to you. That's not my cup of tea.
I don't even know if we upload to that.
I'll be honest with you, I've never listened to anything on that before. So
I did as a kid when I had to we had it wasn't a Walkman, it was an iPod, and yeah, I had
you're not
iHeartRadio.
46. You're not Chris Marlar's age, but it's okay.
But yeah, I had the iHeartRadio app because I could listen to the radio.
Pandora, and you'd
on
have to
my
listen to the ads.
Exactly.
Remember that? That was a lot of fun. But hey, now we dive into the mailbag. Like Bruni said, to start off the show and lead off the show, you guys did a fantastic job. And we're going to get to hopefully the rest of those questions next week in terms of leading up to game week. But question number 1 from Germans on the board. Scale of 1 to 10, what's your confidence level in Joe Sloan this year? Bruni, I'm going to keep mine short and sweet so we can get through some of these. My confidence level in Joe Sloan, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, but I do think that last year was a great learning experience for him in terms of what works, what doesn't work. He made a key point in his press conference. I guess it was now last Friday when we talked to Joe Sloan. Mm-hmm. He made a key point in the sense of understanding your personnel and making sure that you tailor it towards them. Maybe last year they just continued to try to ram their head into the wall of trying to do what he wanted to do and what they wanted to do as a staff, and they just didn't have the personnel to do it. I do think the personnel is more conducive to that this year. My confidence level scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to go with a 7.2 out of 10. That's my confidence level. 10 is like, I think you're winning a national title. I think there's too many weapons. It's going to help Joe Sloan look pretty good too.
Yeah, and they can win a lot of games, like even if Sloan is a 7 or 8, like here, and they can figure things out. Like if the offense, like things that aren't in his control, can work out. Like if the offensive line is actually like really good, right? If Nussmeier is a Heisman contender, like some of that will be play calling, yes. Some of that will be scheme, but some of that is just also your players playing up to their potential. Confidence level in Joe Sloan, I was going to say 7. I didn't hesitate to go any higher because last year was a lot of a learning curve for him. Yeah. And I do think it's fair to be critical of what he did last year and potentially the shortcomings. But now with Nussmeier entering his second year and with a lot more weapons on the perimeter, I think a lot of their struggles were also personnel based. I was very vocal about that, especially at receiver, where I just didn't think they were good enough. So this year, I think they have their receivers, they have the tight ends. I think they have enough here to make him look good enough.
So what's the number? I mean,
7. I said 7.
7. You're going 7 flat. I was leaning 6.7 because I felt like 7 was pretty high, but 7.2 is drinking a little of the Kool-Aid, I guess. So that's what that is. All right, next question. We appreciate that, Germans. Is America 1775? What a name. Will the run game improve, whether it's run blocking, i.e. toughness, or Alex Atkins, or with Nuss pulling it?
How much do you think Nuss is actually going to pull it this year?
You do?
How much do you think he actually is going to pull it this year?
Percentage-wise, I'm going to go with...
I mean, if he was at, let's say...
16%.
I mean, how many times a game, I guess is a better indicator of how many times he actually pulls it and runs.
Over, under 4.5.
Per game? Under.
Per game.
Under. I think it's under. I'd say it's around 2 to 3.
Yeah.
which I think is enough. I don't think you have
It's
to
just enough to keep defenses honest.
like, I don't think you have to do anything crazy here. And honestly, some of these pulls, like even scrambles when nothing's there, instead of trying to force a throw, if you could scramble for 4 or 5 yards, then get down. Like I think that's
Yeah.
substantial too. But this question's about run blocking in particular, and the run game. And throughout fall camp, we haven't seen that like real consistency that we were hoping for in
Moving
the
down the field using the run game.
yeah, like it's definitely still an accessory to their offense. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like it's something that they can be like, hey, we can come out running on first and second down, get to 3rd and 1, or even get a
Mhm.
first down and just keep moving the chains. Like it feels like it's something they have to base off their passing attack, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah.
I think I think I'm not worried about like the toughness. I think Alex Atkins is going to help them schematically, but ultimately there's the schematics of this is, if you ask me to rank my concerns, the schematics are at the like bottom. They need to
It's
be able to run
execution.
block. Yeah, they need to be able to run block, and they need Caden Durham to pop some runs, which I think he can. So, yeah, I'm confident that it'll improve because I don't think it can get worse. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I don't know how much of it is scheme and how much of it is dependent on Nuss.
I sit with it, and I won't belabor the point too much. I do think it'll be better because it was pretty bad last year. Brian Kelly talked about towards the end of his press conference today about being able to run the ball when your opponent knows you need 3 yards and going to run the ball. I think that's the difference. They have not been they did not do that last year. And if we're being real with ourselves, in 2023, they didn't do that. It was just Jaden Daniels being Jaden Daniels. So they have not had a true run game 3 years.
I mean, they haven't had 1,000-yard back since Ty Davis Price.
So yeah, I mean that's fair. Yeah, I mean they haven't had one 3-4 years now. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, good God, that's crazy.
Shout out Ty Davis
So
Price. I remember that game against Florida he had. It was my first year on the beat, and LSU was not looking great, but they hosted Florida, I think 11 o'clock kickoff, or maybe 2 o'clock, 2:30 kickoff. Ty Davis Price ran for somebody in the comments. Let me know. It was like 258, 250 something. It was
jeez,
incredible. Shout out Ty.
that's
A
crazy.
fourth of his yards on the season in that game. Now
That's
that I think
wild.
about it.
That's a
Anyways,
trivia question for you.
yeah.
All right, next question. We appreciate that, America. Is JD the Tiger? I like this one. He goes, "Hey BT crew, love the pod. Long time caller, first time listener here." I wonder if he meant to put that vice versa. But do you see us utilizing a set of 3 to 4 wide receivers consistently this season, like 2019 and 2023, or will there be a heavy rotation where we possibly see 6 or more guys go over for 400 yards this season? I'll start off with this. I mean, neither of us were obviously on the beat in 2019, but I think if you were a college football fan like you and I were, we obviously had a vested interest in watching that 2019 LSU team. So I don't want to speak to something and then sound like an idiot. So I'm not going to speak specifically to that. What I will say is, I think you're going to have your main guys in crucial situations. But I think situationally, you have the ability to utilize guys in different spots. I've said this, and I was talking with someone about this who is in the coaching world. I said with LSU, like, wouldn't it be crazy if you got inside the red zone and you ran like a heavy personnel with like a 13 personnel? So essentially, you had Donovan Green and Bauer Sharp with their hands on the ground, but then you kind of split out Trey Dez. And I don't recall specifically seeing that formation, but it's not wide receiver necessarily, but it's 3 tight ends on the field. I just think there's so much they can mix and match. You could do it, but I do think at some point, crucial 3rd and 7 on the road at Ole Miss, crucial 3rd and 10 on the road at Alabama or at Clemson, you're going to see the guys who've developed the repertoire to be able to go out there and make plays.
Yeah, I've been on the record saying, I love depth in theory, but when you get into these must-win games, these must-win situations, these must-convert situations, like I want to know that LSU has 1, 2, or 3 elite guys that they put out there and say, I don't need to go to 6, 7 deep here. I want to go to 1 through 3. Again, not saying that they're not going to play 6 because they have so many good receivers in this room. Like they're similar to Ashton Stamps, like Xavier Thomas. Guys are getting brought in left and right. Guys are getting talked about left and right, and Xavier Thomas just keeps producing.
Yeah.
And so
And they kind of
again,
like
I
him in the
didn't
run
think
game too.
yeah, I didn't think Xavier had like a great year last year, but he has had a great camp and he's continues to be like in the ones. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, he's just not going to play much. That seems preposterous. He's going to play.
Yeah.
So Hilton, Brown, Anderson, Hilton, Brown, and the two Andersons are the four to me though. Like
Yeah.
ideally, if all of them reach their ceiling, or not even reach their ceiling, if they come close to reaching their ceiling, this is one of the best receiver rooms in the country. And that's what I want to happen here. Now, if most of them or two or three of them don't quite hit their ceiling, and they just have kind of mediocre to good years, then yeah, Kyle Parker, Xavier Thomas, get in there and put up 400, 300 yards for this year. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I think there's different ways it could go, but I ideally, in a perfect world, think that those top four kind of lock it down and all have really good years. And then you do have two very good tight ends as well.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. A lot of weapons. Good question, though.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more here before we get out of here on a Friday afternoon. God, I'm going to try to say this name. Neovinator?
Neovinator. He
Neovinator.
is a I don't want to say what's the word?
Archaeologist.
Archaeologist, thank you. But we've talked before. Yeah, he's the big dinosaur guy, so that's where his name
Are you a
comes
big
from.
dinosaur guy?
I've seen all the Jurassic Parks, so I think that tells you. Even the new one that just came out 2 months ago.
Do you remember the movie when we were a kid called Dinosaur? The Disney movie? You don't remember that? Oh my gosh, it's great. It was like that
No,
weird animation thing, but it was
I'd have
pretty
to
good.
see.
I
I'd have to
loved it
see.
as a kid. I loved it as a kid. We've got my 1-year-old daughter now. We don't know if she's trying to do a dinosaur or Mike the Tiger, and I think you experienced it the other day when I FaceTimed you.
Yeah, just roaring.
Yeah, she's roaring. So, Neovinator asked the three most physical offensive linemen on the team.
Most
Okay.
physical. Okay, Braylon Moore has shocked me.
Braylon Moore's, yeah, he's good.
His tape at Virginia Tech, I thought was solid, and I thought he was good. Like I thought as a pass protector, he held up. I think I looked at him as like a bigger version, or not even bigger, like just a kind of more polished version of Charles Turner from a few years ago. Like I
Yeah.
thought the size thing, like he's not the biggest. Like I was kind of concerned going into it. He has kind of surpassed all my expectations at center, which is great. So I'll throw him in there just because I think he's had some real flashes here. So that's the one for me. Who else do you got here?
Well, one quick note on all the Virginia Tech fans that are going to watch this. Virginia Tech as a unit had a really good offensive, or didn't have a great offensive line last year in terms of production. Individually, they had some guys that left Blacksburg, including Braylon Moore. I think Xavier Chaplin is going to be a left tackle at Auburn this year. That offensive line, you go back and kind of look at like individually, they had some good players.
Is
So
it kind of
Braylon Moore is up there
like
for
NC
me.
State's secondary last year that all got picked apart?
Shout out to Marcus Cooley.
I mean, there's like all of them.
They're all gone.
Yeah, like all five of them.
So
Poor
crazy.
ACC.
Poor. Well, I can't say that. I'll get roasted. Anyways, no. Okay. God, Brandon Moore was mine.
Physical. Okay.
Is Tyree Adams is physical?
Cohen Eccles.
Cohen. I'm going to say this, and I talked to Cohen Eccles a lot during his recruiting process, and I think the kid is a great kid. Cohen Eccles physically does not look like the most dominating guy out there, but you are right. He is very physical when he plays. Not a slight.
Eccles is my second pick.
You just take the third one, please, because I'm struggling here.
Those are the two. Like I think we've seen flashes of like borderline. We've seen even flashes of the tackles in the run game. Like actually give like again, a lot of it's been flashes of this offensive line. And that's what we keep saying. It's like they have a moment here where they pop a run or they have, give a good pocket to the quarterback or something like that. It's just been the consistency factor.
Yeah.
Like I think Josh Thompson is a physical guy. You watch his tape at Northwestern, like he is not afraid to put his like nose in the fire here, but he just hasn't had a great fall camp. So how do I answer this? Like I think DJ Chester like physically is like able to play, but like I don't know. I don't have a real answer for the third one. Is it Carius Kern just off of raw talent?
I mean,
we got
Paul Mabenga, is he physical?
I'm still just hesitant on this offensive line as a whole. So asking
It's a weird
me,
question, right? I think that's the problem. Is like Braylon Moore looks good. You know these guys can be physical. We just hadn't seen them do it. Like we have not seen them. This is the best way I put it. Physically dominate the opposition consistently. They
there
may
you
have
go,
one play in a span of 5 plays. They haven't been able to do it consistently. So
there you go. That's a good
yeah.
way of putting it.
We're going to the last question, I guess. Now
Yeah.
is it
No,
Hoko
I said go
Mojo?
down to Jelly Mace. Do one more after Hoko.
Okay, perfect. Hoko Mojo. I'm not going to spoil a lot of this because this is what I'm writing on this afternoon and for tomorrow probably.
All right, I'll take it.
Cole Kubelik mentioned on his show that he thinks LSU couldn't run the ball because they did not show a commitment to running the ball. Do you think LSU will show a commitment to run the football this year? Yes. Brian Kelly talked about that at the end of the press conference. He said we can't go away from it, and I think he was alluding to the fact that they just would abandon it too quickly last year when it didn't work, and it made them predictable, and it put Garrett in tough spots.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you have an All-American left tackle. If that defensive end in the SEC on the road at A&M, if Nick Scorton knows that you're throwing the football, he can pin his ears back and go back and get you. So I think that they have to. If they don't, it's going to be very similar to last year, to where it doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to be relying on Nussmeier's decision making way too much, which could work out, but I don't want to play with fire like that.
Nuss was 5th in the country in pass attempts last year. If
He was
I'm not
top 5,
somewhere in
I think,
that range, somewhere in there. I think it'd be great if he wasn't top 5 this year. That's how I'll phrase it. I think he can have a great year, like top 15, top 10, something like that in terms of pass attempts.
He doesn't have to be that, though.
But like, I think the percentage of like run to pass, the run pass ratio, all that stuff, I think that needs to come down a little bit.
I hear you. Thunder rumbling.
Yeah, me too.
Here in East Baton Rouge Parish.
Just glad we got Wi-Fi still. We're still here.
Yeah, I'm glad we too. All right, last question, and then we'll end it off. That was a good one, though. I believe I said that was Hoko Mojo. Jelly Maze. What's your favorite jelly, Bruni?
Just read the question.
What's your favorite jelly? I'm a peach. You like jelly or
grape?
Grape. Dear God. Vanilla. I don't like vanilla jelly. I don't even know what that is. I'm just saying you're vanilla of a person. Relaford or Peyton? Well, who do you want starting if you're the coach, Matty B? All right. Who do you want? I'm not even allowed to answer this question. It's all you, Fun.
I predicted in January that Gabriel Relaford was going to start and have a great year for LSU in 2025. He has had a very, very good fall camp. So that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to stick with Gabriel Relaford here. Pat Peyton is a player, dude. He is. They're going to have situations where they're both on the field. Like, don't worry about that. But Pyburn's really good, like in the run game and just being a dog out there.
Society.
A menace out there. So he's going to start. But like Relaford and Peyton are going to play a ton. They're going to get after quarterbacks. Peyton, we were talking about this up in the sky in the rafters today. Is like Peyton swats a ton of passes just because he's 6'6" and has super long arms.
He's done it a couple of times to Nuss this
yeah.
fall.
So both of them have their roles. I think Relaford starts, but Peyton is going to play a lot as well.
Patrick Peyton, you ready for my take?
Yeah.
Patrick Peyton will be a day 1 or day 2 pick next year because LSU situationally he's going to feast as a situational pass rusher. That's
day 1?
Day 1 or day 2. So he could be a 3rd round pick. He's going to recoup a lot of the value that he lost last year.
I can see day 2. I could see day 2.
Yeah. You never know, man.
If he's day 1,
my Atlanta Falcons know all about positional value. So it's I just outed myself on the board now, by the way. So
Oh yeah.
Sports, baby.
Go jump in the Saints thread on there. They're having a good time already.
Rise up, baby. Let's do it. Okay, we appreciate you tuning in. Obviously, we didn't get to go outside today and do it, but we will be back next week with the fall camp report.
Yeah, drop in the comments where you think we should do the next podcast.
3 things I want you to answer if you're listening to this. 1, what's your favorite jam/jelly? Your go-to pizza crust. Bruni had to give brand because he's begging for a sponsorship. And where should we do the next podcast? I've thought about laying down a beach towel and then positioning the camera overhead and you not just laying down on the beach towel. We can have separate beach towels.
Get a Domino's app.
Dear God, we're just
Domino's app on my phone.
There we go.
He's ordering see how many points I have. I have 60 points. I can get a free pizza right now. 60 points up there.
You just ate ground turkey tacos.
I know. I'm being healthy. Until she gets back.
Make sure to check out Bruni at Highland Road Community Park, part of the tennis club over there. He's going to have another match next Tuesday. And
I
that'll
don't
be
think
good
we played
stuff.
at Highland, but yeah,
I've just made that up
it's
completely.
close.
It's close. Bryce Coon alongside Matthew Brune. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and check out our friend Andy Luedecke there as well. If you missed that, he does a great job. Make sure you're hanging out with him. Get some good business acumen advice that you really need. We'll catch you next time here on the Bengal Tiger podcast.